are oozing out of cracks in nearby cities or houses, neighborhoods, due to the smoldering volcano under Los Angeles. True story.
Wow, that is something else. I did not know that.
Thankfully, the smoldering volcano does not come in big outcomes, slow outcomes. That is why it is called smoldering volcano. But over thousands, maybe hundreds of years, we might have lava very slowly spewing onto our streets, not in a big eruption, very slow eruption. That is why it's called a smoldering volcano.
So it's in increments. It will spew the lava, right?
Correct.
How can you do you know about this atmospheric phenomenon in the sky? Tell us something about the rain and the tornadoes.
What would you like me to talk about in that atmospheric category?
Oh, whatever you feel like talking.
Anything you want.
How about volcanoes?
What would you like me to talk about volcanoes? Ask a question.
When do they erupt?
Unknown. All volcanoes are actually unknown when they erupt, but some very rare volcanoes have a time when they erupt. Per se, the one in California, I do not know every time it erupts, but the one in California, not the one in Los Angeles, but it is a couple hundred miles away from Los Angeles. We are due for an eruption.
What are the conditions that occasion an eruption?
What do you mean by that?
What kind of conditions inside the Earth have to happen before we have an eruption?
Well, it depends on different volcanoes. Let's say the San Andreas goes off, and there is a volcano near the San Andreas, or on top of it. There is a possibility it could open a vent, also known as crack, in the inner of the volcano, so lava, magma, can enter it, making pressurized, and so the volcano could erupt. Another way is just by pure pressurization.
What does that mean?
What do you mean?
Something pressurization, what does that mean?
When over time it's slowly getting even more pressurized by the amount of magma that is coming from the Earth's core.
I see.
What I want you to tell me is another subject about the tornadoes. What do you know about tornadoes?
Ask me a question.
How many categories do they have, and how do you know to differentiate them?
The different categories of tornadoes are EF0, or you can even go to satellite, which is the smallest tornado, which is usually produced by another tornado, then EF0, EF1, EF2, EF3, EF4, and God's finger EF5. But in 1968, in El Reno, Texas, I believe, there was a supposedly EF6 due to the amount of size that it was. They say it was over 2 miles wide.
My God, that's pretty big.
Oh my goodness.
Do you think it really did happen?
Yes, it is on video.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And what's the difference?
I'm not quite sure about the date or year though.
What's the difference between EF3 and EF4?
Well, it is a little bit small, but let's say EF3, severely damaging walls. the walls damaged, roofs stripped. EF4, some foundations gone from property.
Mm-hmm.
Houses ripped out of their foundation. Not completely, but let's say you have a EF5. All foundations ripped, all houses ripped from their foundation. Even parts of the foundation itself gone. Just land.
Oh my
Unbelievable.
God, that's unbelievable.
And the last question is, what are the conditions that make to form a tornado in the sky? What is the
From
atmosphere?
Mexico, there is a warm front that enters the United States in Tornado Alley. In Canada, there is a cold front that enters United States at around the same time, Tornado Alley. Those mixtures start to fight with each other. First, the cold air is at top, higher levels. The ground air is at lower levels. What they start to do is competing who gets to get to the middle. And then, because of all the pressure, they start to spin. And if there is a storm system there, or a supercell, the clouds will start to spin, starting to determine which side will win, eventually causing a tornado.
Oh,
My
wow.
God, how do you know all of this? And you're so articulate the way you express this.
Okay, the
How did you
last
become so
question.
articulate for an 11-year-old?
Because I am your virtual assistant.
Oh,
Thank you. The last question will be how the snow forms.
how does snow form?
Uh-huh, I don't know.
I'm surprised. You don't know that. No offense, but this is how it works. Let's say, basically same thing with rain. When moisture from the ground enters the clouds, what will happen is it will fall. But sometimes what happens is in Los Angeles, if it's very cold and it rains, in the top of the clouds it is snow, but before it hits the ground, it is rain.
Okay.
What becomes snow though?
What?
What becomes snow?
Water.
Oh,
Very good. Yeah, that's the solid state of water.
Any other questions?
yeah.
Do you know at what altitude they have to be to form the snow? Depending
I am
on
actually
the
not sure on
temperature.
that, but at least 3,000 to 2,000.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, virtual assistant Bradley.
Yeah, thank you,
Couture.
virtual assistant.
We appreciate all the information, so we will
No
be.
more questions?
No,
No, thank you.
you pretty much answered all of them.
Thank you very
Well,
much.
we'll think of more to ask you next time.
Yes.
Thank you. Have a good night, Mr. Assistant Bradley Couture
too.
Gonzalez. Bye bye.
We love you, personal assistant. I mean, virtual assistant.
Love you too.
Bye bye, mi amor.
Good
Bye.
night.
Good night.